What?
What?
What the hell is this?
Harumph. I didn't get a harumph out of that guy.
Give the governor harumph.
Harumph!
You watch your ass.
I see you shiver with anticipation.
Let the show begin.
Hey everybody, this is David Heretic coming at you with another edition of Reactions, Reviews, and Rants. And tonight, alright, we're coming back to Coheed and Cambria. Yes, indeed. Coheed and Cambria fans, feeling you. Come on now. Here we go. Before we go any further, for those of you who are feeling inclined to doing all the clicks and the likes and the bibbidi bop, do me a favor, before you do all that stuff, please watch the whole video first, okay? Give me a chance to actually earn those clicks and likes. Now, after the video's done, still feel like doing all those clicks and likes, then by all means, feel free to click away. This comes as a request from Joey Resnick. And Joey wanted to see me react to this song by Coheed and Cambria called Ladders of Supremacy. Now, have I heard this song before? No, I have not. To the best of my knowledge, this does not resonate with me in any way, shape, or form. However, there's always a possibility I may have heard this song in passing and I just don't realize it. So as always, if I start listening to the song and I suddenly go, wait a second, yeah, I've heard this song before, I'll let you know.
That's the truth.
You know me, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Let's see, this was posted by Coheed and Cambria. That's not a surprise. And the video has 190,000 views. It'll get you there. Other than that, there's really nothing else left to say. A link to the original video will be down below in the video description for your viewing pleasure at your leisure. Let's get started. What do you say? Are you ready? Are you ready? Because here we go. All right, here we go. Ladders of Supremacy. That's all I got. I have no idea if we're in the right place or not. Look, this is the link I was given, okay? So if we're not in the right place, don't blame me. Blame the requester. He's the one who gave me this link, so. All right, let's do this.
All right, boy, let's do this.
Now this sounds like the main. This sounds like we're into the main part of the song now. Okay, so intro, 2 minutes long. intros can... I know this is going to sound crazy, but hear me out. Intros can make or break your song. They really can. If your intro goes on for too long with no direction, no lead in, no purpose, no rhyme or reason, and it just goes on and on and on for like 2 minutes. And when you finally do get to the main song, it's just like, what in the world did I listen to for the first 2 minutes? It did nothing to set us up for this, you know? And that's happened a few times on the channel where we've had intros that make absolutely zero sense within the context of the actual song. We get to the main part of the song and it's like, why do we even bother having that, you know, first 2 minutes? It's happened before, and I have absolutely torn those songs to shreds. And one of the main reasons is the intro. The whole purpose of the intro is to set expectation and pre-frame the listener for what they're about to experience. It's supposed to lead you in a very pleasing way, in a very smooth way, into what we're going to get to, right? That's the whole purpose of an intro. So when an intro doesn't do that, it becomes, honestly, at best, the intro becomes pointless. Pointless. At worst, it becomes a hindrance. Now, this intro, it did the job. It did do the job in a number of ways. Number one, it led us to where we're ending up now. And it did so in a way that kept the listener vested, keep the listener interested. It changed up in a way that, not in an abrupt way, in a growth and evolution way. Started out very subdued, just kind of ambient noise. We swelled into the chords, and then we add the percussion, and then we change up the rhythmic pattern a little bit, but still progressing, constantly progressing to where we are now, where I believe we are now. It feels like the main song because the intro did its job and it literally hand delivered us to this point. It carried us all the way through and dropped us off here. That makes perfect sense. I know it's 2 minutes long. I get it. But sometimes the intro, to be effective, it does have to walk a path. It has to go through this journey. It has to have enough time to set expectation for the listener and to pre-frame the listener for what's coming. You can't do that. I mean, you can do it in 10 seconds, sure. But it's going to feel rushed if you do, you know? With a grandioso feel like that, why not take your time with it? As long as it makes sense, as long as it sounds good, as long as it sets expectation and pre-frames the listener and carries the listener along through that growth, through that evolution, and drops us off at the start of the song and gently lands us on our feet, hey, you did the job well. So I like that intro. I do. I think the intro made perfect sense. Anyway, let's keep going here.
Oh, we've only got one chance at this. The severity unmerciful as the tension sits. Boys,
switch.
All your chances burn to ash, the end's begun. Here we watch as time moves on, away from all the things we could have done. So how we gonna handle this? When the punch lands, boy, it's all about how you fall. Go on, swallow your defeat. Down, boy, see you got clown, boy. You got heart, but sorry, just ain't meant to be. Another one down the ladders of supremacy.
I like that switch up. It's happened both times now. Verse to, I think, chorus. Verse to chorus, verse to chorus. Both times we've been starting off very straight. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then you feel the drummer transition. You can feel him fill 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it goes into this laid back. It's not 6/8. It's still a 4/4 feel, but it's very laid back. It's that laid back shuffle type of feel that I won't go as far as to say swing. It's not swing, but it's got that laid back shuffle feel, man. It does, and it feels so good because it still fits within that straight time, but without feeling on top of the beat like the first part of the verse did. It feels way more relaxed, way more laid back. I like what's happening there with that feel. Great job from everybody involved on that. I'm hearing the bass playing coming through pretty clearly, actually. Not super active, but there are definitely parts where he's getting active and gets up on the neck. But what I like about that is when he does get up on the neck, he goes up, he'll stay there for like a measure, maybe one measure, and then he goes back down to the root notes again and fills out the bottom end. I have no problem with that whatsoever. I like doing that myself. It's as long as you go up on the neck, do what you got to do, and then get down on the neck again to fill out the bottom end. Otherwise, the sound's going to hollow out. I like what he did. It was tasteful. It was well done. The other thing that's kind of striking me are the vocals. How should I, the best way to describe it is controlled chaos. He's letting his vocals intentionally get away from him within a certain realm. So he'll throw his voice way up and it goes up in range, but it only goes so far. It doesn't hit on the pitch where the chord is, where the melodic line is. He goes over the melodic line and brings it right back down again. And he does it the same way every single time. So it's planned. It's not sloppiness. It's planned. He's doing that on purpose for effect. Because there is a pattern. And every time he does it, it's the exact same. It definitely adds to the song. It definitely does. It catches your attention. And it's not being overly done. Dear Lord, if he was doing that every, 2 measures or so, I'd probably lose my ever-loving mind. But he's only doing it at key points for effect. I think that's really smart. Again, just another tool to help get the listener reinvested in the song again. So I got no issue with anything that's happening. I'm actually really enjoying this song. This is a fun listen. Let's keep going here. I'm going to go back to straight time again. Oh, we're going to 6/8. Okay. the floor. I love it.
So that's how it goes, 'cause who you are, take a look. You know.
4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4. I love it. Yes, well done. Take your pick. 6, 8, or 4, 4, and all 4.
Get up from the gravel and dust off of your shoulders. And now it's your chance to prove. Climbing up the ladders of their supremacy. Was it everything you had dreamed? Or did you make your mark? Or did you let them stand between you and everything?
Okay. A little different from the intro beginning, but it's along the same veins. Along the same veins. The way it ended right there, that leads me to believe this leads into another song. Yeah, that's got to lead into another song. It's gotta. The way it just cuts off so abruptly right there, mid phrase. I already talked at length about pretty much everything I wanted to discuss. So we may have a short review, maybe. Then again, maybe we won't. Let me get my thoughts together. I'll see you in the review, and we'll talk about it. Well, there you go, folks. That was Coheed and Cambria with Ladders of Supremacy. This was a request from Joey Resnick. Okay, I already said everything I needed to say during the course of the reaction, so this should be a pretty short review. I should just hit some bullet points, and we should be good. But then again, I don't know. Sometimes I go off on a tangent and we're here for 20 minutes. So I don't know what's going to happen, folks. We're going to just kind of go with the flow here and follow the tides and see where they take us. Let's start with the score. And considering what the score is, that might actually happen. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give that a 9.3. Yep. 9.3. You heard me. I didn't stutter. That is the score I feel this song deserves. Let me tell you why.
Why?
Okay. First things first, a 9.3. What does that mean? Well, a 9.3 would translate to an outstanding, amazing, impressive scale ratings because overall, I think this was an outstanding, amazing, and impressive song. It would also give 5 out of 5 stars and an A letter grade. So there you go. A 9.3. Outstanding, amazing, impressive scale rating. 5 out of 5 stars and an A letter grade. Now, how did I come up with that score? So glad you asked. Across the board. I know this song was over 6 minutes. I know. Here's the thing. It didn't feel like it. It didn't. This song flew by. This song felt like it was under 5. That intro. I know it was a 2-minute intro, but here's the thing. I knew I was in for a good time. When I was finished with the intro, I did my first pause. I thought we were at about 1.5 minutes, and I look and we're at 2:11, and I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, we're off to a good start. You know, the time is flying already, and we're just through the intro. That intro did exactly what an intro should do. It set expectation. It pre-framed the listener for what to expect through the course of the song when we get to the main body of the song. And it did so in an engaging and evolving way so that the intro never sounded stale. The intro never sounded boring. It kept moving. It kept evolving. Voices kept bringing in. And it kept growing and growing until we got to the body where it deposited us ready for what was to come. There was no shock. When we got to the main body, it wasn't like a completely different song. No, the intro did a great job of setting us up. Exactly what a good intro should do. So I had no issue with it, especially considering the fact that the time flew by. After that, we were coasting, man. We were absolutely just, it was all downhill from there, boy. And I mean that in a very complimentary way. No bumps, no going off the road and into the ditch and anything. No. We coasted, man. It was all good from there on out. The groove felt nice. It felt good. The musicianship throughout the entire song sounded really good, super tight, and there was some pretty impressive playing going on in there. Not even so much from a technical standpoint, but more from a feel standpoint. You know, knowing when to have the bass player come in and go up and do a riff and come back down again to fill out the sound. I talked at length about that during the reaction. I cannot tell you how many times I've heard bass players in songs who go up on the neck, and like I've always said, I got no problem with that. But when they stay up there for 8 measures and the bottom end dies, well, that's a bit of an issue, isn't it? Yes, it is, because the bottom end is just gone. Now what? Now you have to reestablish it. Good luck with that. The guitar playing on this sounded really good. It sounded super clean. Very technical, but at the same time, not sterile, not organic. I'm going to refer to a band that I really wish would listen to these guys and maybe take some pointers and some tips from. That band would be Polyphia. Now, my biggest gripe with Polyphia is not in their technical ability. I fully acknowledge, and I do this in every reaction video I do to Polyphia, I fully acknowledge they are outstanding musicians, super talented musicians, and they fully demonstrate their ability to play their instruments to their fullest. Having said that, their sound is so sterile. It's so squeaky clean. It's so digital sounding. It almost sounds fake. I know it's not. I know they actually are able to play their instruments quite well. I've seen them do live streams that I've reacted to on here, where they've demonstrated their ability to play in a live setting. So I know they're able to do it all. But their engineering and their mix and their tone, it's just so overly compressed, overly processed, overly expanded, overly EQ'd to the point where it sounds sterile is really the best way to put it. This song, on the other hand, had a lot of the same technicalities. We heard a lot of the same techniques. We heard a lot of the same notational usage. We heard a lot of the same theory. We heard a lot of the same runs in structure. So why does this one sound so much better? Why does this sound more organic? Why does this sound warmer? Why does this sound more natural? Rather than Polyphia's approach, which is very, compressed and sterilized. And it really comes down to the mix more than anything else. It comes down to engineering. And I really think Polyphia needs to take some notes from Coheed and Cambria, because I guarantee you, if they can get the sound and the tone and the EQing and the engineering that Coheed and Cambria used on this song and apply it to their mix, when they play and when they record, I guarantee you that's going to be the next step up. That's going to be the next thing for Polyphia. That's going to be the next big jump for them, is now all of a sudden their tone changed. They're not going to sound so inorganic. They're not going to sound so sterilized. They're not going to sound so overly processed. They're going to sound warm, natural, organic, and it's going to be far more pleasing to the ear for many, many more people than what their sound is right now. I guarantee you that would be a big feather in the cap for Polyphia if they can pull that off. Coheed and Cambria got it. They absolutely got it. It sounded natural. It sounded warm. It sounded real. And I absolutely enjoyed listening to the guitar work on this without question, and the bass work. The drumming on this, very nicely done. Loved all of the play on feel that he was doing. Switching between, that straight right up on top of the beat, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and feel, and then going into that, shuffle feel like a 6, almost like a 6/8, and then he did switch to 6/8. And then there was that one section where I almost lost my mind, and he was able to incorporate the 3 against the 4. The 4 was on that China. If you lock in with the China, you'll hear it. Crash, 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 crash. I'm just like, God, I love it when bands do that. I love it when bands put the 3 against the 4 and they just work with each other so well. Every third measure of 4 matching up with every fourth measure of 3, and it just matches up perfectly. I love it when that happens. That's absolutely magical to me, and they nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. Vocally, I talked at length about this during the reaction. I love his vocal approach on this song. I love the fact that he had that kind of a controlled chaos factor to his song, to his singing, when like when he would jump up and it would go over and then come back down again. Now, the first time I heard it, not gonna lie, the first time I heard it, I was a little put off, but I was like, ooh, that sounded almost like a mistake, but they wouldn't have left it on the album if it was a mistake, right? And they did it again in the exact same spot later on. I'm like, oh, he's doing that on purpose. Okay, he's doing it for effect. That makes more sense. Okay, I like it now. Now I like it, because now I see that there's a rhyme and reason behind it. It's not just slop, So I was fine with the vocal work on this. Some really nice vocal work, actually, especially getting into that last third of the song with the harmonies being added in. That was even better. As far as the ending goes, here's the thing, and I know I've been very critical of bands in the past with those abrupt endings / endings that lead into the next song. I got no problem with this one. This one makes perfect sense. Number one, they made it very obvious. There was no guesswork. I mean, it's very obvious listening to the direction of the song and how it ended as abruptly as it did, where it did. It's pretty obvious it's going into something else. That's number one. Number two, they didn't spend 45 seconds to a minute doing it. It literally lasted 20 seconds, if that. I don't even think it was 20. I think it was somewhere around 15 to 17 seconds. And it did the job. It ended not quite like the beginning. It was a little different, but it had the same idea. Strip it back there, let it flow out. And that was cool. I liked that. And I liked the fact, most importantly, the fact that it was short, sweet, and to the point. So, yeah, man, I got no issues with this whatsoever. I was very, very pleasantly surprised by this. Coheed and Cambria on the channel, it's been a little hit and miss. This was a hit. This was a grand slam. Just knock it out of the park, going yard over the Green Monster in Fenway. No, this was a fun listen. I will absolutely listen to this song again, without question. So that's how I'm coming up with a 9.3. It was a very impressive song, really well put together, really well constructed, well thought out, well organized, and most importantly, well executed. So yeah, 9.3, I feel good with that score, and that's where we're gonna stay. So let's wrap everything up here in a nice shiny bow, shall we? We have a 9.3, which is an outstanding, amazing, impressive scale rating, 5 out of 5 stars, and an A letter grade. Take your pick, I don't care, whichever one of those floats your boat. Final word, final score, I have spoken. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of Reactions, Reviews, and Rants. Hope you all enjoyed the show. Hope I was able to entertain you. If I was able to put a smile on your face and brighten your day, that did my job, and I'm so glad I could do it. If you guys feel like joining the fan base, go ahead and click on that button down there. If you guys want to like the video, go ahead and like the video. If you guys want to ring the bell, go ahead and ring the bell. It honestly doesn't make any difference at all to me, but if you guys feel like doing these things, well then by all means, feel free to do so. Well, that's going to do it for tonight, folks. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, this is David Heretic signing off, reminding you to stay fabulous and support each other. Later. Peace.